All right, guys. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Mustang Studios podcast. It's the 17th episode. Um, and who do we have here today?
No.
Padma.
Sreya. Bhavika.
And Sadia.
All right, today's episode is a little different than what we usually do. I'm kind of glad that we're going into more serious topics because previously it was mostly about like a lot of fun things that we were talking about, super interesting that we really enjoyed. But now we're going to talk about something a bit more serious, which is bullying. And I think I'll just start off. So back when I was in my old school, I was actually living in Mountain House for like almost 12 years, like 11 years, I think.
Oh, gee.
So I've been living here for a long time, but I came here when I was in second grade. But before, I was living in Fremont, and the elementary school that I went, the people there, I would say that Mountain House people are much more nicer than the people that I had in my old school. People were like, putting their boogers on the lunch tables and whatnot, like some of the indecency, you know.
It just sounds like standard middle school and like elementary school stuff for me, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. The people there were weird. But I remember there were these three boys that would always keep on teasing me. Like during lunchtime or whatever, like trying to like annoy me as much as they can.
Oh, I know those types of people. There's still people who do that in this school today.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, yeah, I experienced something like that when I was in the lunch school.
I think
like,
they
before I
think
moved.
they're being like charming or funny or something, but it's honestly just like,
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
say that because one of the guys, I was in the lunch line, and then one of the guys actually punched me in the face. No,
Boy.
because I think I did something that kind of bothered him or made him
What
mad.
What did
I
you
don't know.
do that
I don't know what I
warranted
was.
him a punch?
Rija, no.
No,
That's
it's
too
not
extreme.
justified.
It's not you.
It's not you.
No,
It's that
and-
person has
yeah.
issues.
Did he
Yeah.
go like seriously
Like he punched me. My back was to him, and
Oh,
and
dude,
he punched me.
That's
And,
worse. That's so much more worse.
That's so like he did it like as a serious thing.
yeah, and I
That's-
fell down.
No, coward.
How old
You
are you?
touched your
He
mom.
was literally like assaulting you.
Yeah,
What?
that's not.
Yeah, so funny and charming. No,
No, okay, that's something else. That's some totally different issue.
It's even worse when like girls initiate physical violence because they go for the throat.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing about girls initiating physical violence, why is it, guys, come on, stop going for the hair. It's low. If you're gonna fight someone, fight with some honor, okay? No,
Padma.
I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious. If you have a problem with someone, first talk it out. And if talking doesn't resolve it, you just walk away from the problem. But if you ever engage in physical contact, make it swift and get over with it. That's my biggest advice. You hit them hard and just get out.
What does Padma do?
No, it's just general like conflict resolution advice. Never go for physical violence at all, at any cost. It's the one thing you should be avoiding.
That's true.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. The nice part about my story was that
He got expelled.
no.
Bro, do you think these people get expelled?
No,
I don't know how they.
I don't know. I don't know if I told a teacher or somebody else did, but there was like this girl and this guy saying, "Are you okay, Rija?" And I was like crying
they
like so
should.
much.
Yeah,
And
you
that
just
was,
got
like, so
decked in the
sweet.
face.
Yeah,
Of course.
Wait,
Yeah.
he punched you in the face?
I don't know if it was in the face or like on my back.
That's so messed up.
It
What?
really is. Like, how old were you? Like,
I was in first grade.
Isn't it
that's
like what
seriously
is it?
bad.
What is the
Mm.
don't hit girls or something.
Like keep your hands to yourself.
keep your like in general, like keep your
Yeah.
hands to yourself. Excuse me.
Wait, did you get like suspended or anything, like in trouble?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's honestly just disgusting, though. Like,
Yeah.
So you guys have some pretty scary bullying stories. For me, I've been in Mountain House for like a year, and like before that, I came to America like 5 years ago. Not even 5, maybe 4 and a half. Who knows? I came in America in the middle of 6th grade, and I was from India. And I've been through many places like Saudi Arabia, England, and all of that. During those times, I was able to learn English decently, not that great. And because of that, my dad put English as my like first like language, I guess. And people here, the way they use English is way more different than I thought at the time. And because of that, I had to adjust quite a bit, and it took me some time. And then during those times, I got bullied, I guess you could say, not physically, but like mentally, they tortured me because most of the time I was also overweight. I was like really overweight.
Feel you there,
And-
bud.
Yeah, and because of that, I was like bullied really hard, and like people, and I wasn't like that smart. Like I was decently smart, I would say, and but my IQ is not 0. But so I was like decently smart, but there was this one kid that was like really really smart. And like he used to constantly like taunt me, like, "Oh, you got a 80%, I got a 90." And
I hate
like,
those people with a
oh.
burning passion.
Bro, that's like the most textbook like elementary school. Oh, I'm definitely better than you kind of bullying.
Yeah.
It's
Like belittling you.
it's the funniest form of bullying in my opinion. Like you got nothing better to say about yourself, so you just brag about your grades. That's all. I have a
High
similar-
ego.
I have a similar story. I was a really chubby kid growing up. I was like balloon levels of fat, bro. And then always, even my own doctor was like, "Girl, you gotta lose weight. Like you're fat. You're actually fat." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to lose weight."
God, what was it, these nutritionists and just bullying the crap out of fat kids?
I mean, they weren't okay. Can I use that? They weren't like really bullying us, right? Nutritionists are not bullying. The way they say it, right? It's supposed to like impact you.
It's direct. It's very direct.
Very direct. Like they know that your life is in danger if you go
Yeah.
through this path. And like many nutritionists have like said that to me. Even my own parents have,
You say.
right?
Brutally honest.
Yeah, very brutally honest. And like that's an amazing thing about like older people, like trying to guide like youngins. Yeah.
I think maybe because I had like 2 nutritionists. One was like particularly like really rude, like not even in like a tough love kind of way. More of it's like I don't like you kind of way, and so we just had to switch nutritionists. She still had that same like tough love mentality, but she did better for me than the other one.
I don't understand people in service jobs who literally just hate their job. Like, I'm sorry, but the people at the airlines are some of the rudest people you'll ever meet in your life. Like,
I mean, well, at the end of the day, it is a job, right?
it
There's no
is,
guarantee.
But you're supposed to be like,
Nah, dude. Nah, this is like typical Karen 101 stuff. Like you're supposed to enjoy your job and it's a job.
Okay, it's not an excuse to literally be rude to like.
Okay, yeah, that I
your
agree
friends.
with.
Not like the security people like yelling at my parents because they like were being slow or something like.
Oh. Dude, I just got yelled at because our bags were like insanely overweight. Always when you
Oh, this reminds me of when I was in vacation from like 7th to 8th grade. I was with my grandma at the time, and we were at like Santa Cruz or something. You know those ATVs?
Mhm.
We have to like drive around on the beach. And so my grandma knew very little English at the time, so I was the one mainly translating for her. And this guy was being like rude because, keep in mind, my language of Telugu was very limited to none, so I was doing the best of my ability to translate it. Because the helmet we got didn't fit my grandma, and so I was telling him the helmet didn't fit, and he wasn't listening to me. keep in mind we were in a one-on-one conversation. I was like extremely confused. It's like if the lady wanted it, she could have just told me. And I'm like, she can't. That's why I'm telling you.
Oh my god. I'm fortunate enough to never have that problem with any of my relatives who don't know English, because usually I tell them straight up like, hey, this person doesn't speak English. I'm the one translating, and they're like, oh, okay, we get that. And then it goes somewhat smoothly, but then there are also bumps like, oh, why can't they just tell me directly? Like, well, do you want them to tell you directly?
If you know the language, sure. And there was also this time when we went to downtown for like a market or something. So it was just me and my dad and my brother. And there was this like homeless guy, I think. He had like a cart or something. And so he was just like yelling mumbo jumbo to everyone. And then he notices my dad and me. And then he says like, stop stealing our jobs. And I'm like,
Oi, yo.
I'm like,
whoa.
I was about to turn around. But mom's just like, just keep walking.
I also like faced with a little bit of racism. Like in most of the stuff happened like in middle school for me, and like it was so horrible. Like there was this one lady. I remember she was white. Obviously, I mean, wait, obviously, I don't know. And she was like telling me specifically. She was like, "Go back to your own country." Like why are you here? And back at the time, I had no idea what racism was. So I was like, wait, are you talking to me? Like, what do you mean? Go back to my own country. I gotta get a visa and stuff like that. I got so confused. And then I was like, and then one of my friends was like, oh, dude, she's just like telling you off. I'm like, what's the point? I don't understand. Like, does this give you any benefit whatsoever? Like,
only real people who are from here, like Native Americans. So
Yes, to be fair,
I think
historically,
they should go back to their country.
every single like white, Asian, or even Hispanic person, their ancestors are not originally from America. Obviously, white people, where do they come from? They come from Europe. There's no question about it. And then Native Americans, they came way before. It's basic history, and they think it's like some sort of like insult to immigrants. Like, come on, dude, come on, you're not lying. Quit lying to yourself.
I know you're not from here either. Like,
Yeah, none of your like ancestors are from here, anyways. So it's not even a valid insult.
no one owns any land. The land is everyone's, people.
Yeah. Maybe I should talk about my middle school experiences too. Oh, this is probably gonna be a long story. But I don't even know how I can say this.
Is it like what I'm thinking about? Like,
Wait, what are you thinking about? Tell me.
seventh, eighth grade?
No,
tell
this was in 6th grade. As soon as I say the title of the person's occupation, people would know who the person is. So I wouldn't. Okay, I'll just say a staff member, an admin member, and then okay, these are the people that you have to know: admin member, person A, person B. Okay, so I was just sitting in my classroom during recess time, and I was like just sitting there trying to do some work, and there were these guys that were trying to come into the classroom, and some of the girls were trying to hold the door to not let them come into the classroom, and I wanted to help them, which is like the biggest mistake that I could have ever done. So I went to help them and also tried pushing the door as well, and then I was pushing the door back for a while. But then all of a sudden, someone, which was person B behind me was walking. I had my like legs extended, so like one leg was in front of the door, because I know how you have to like use your weight to push the door. Yeah. And then my other leg was behind me, and then she tripped over that leg and fell. And person A, which is person B's friend, was like, oh, she could have been blinded or something, and why did you do that or something? Kind of assumed that I pushed her or whatever, but I didn't push her. She tripped over my foot and fell down. So I was accused of something that I didn't do, and she told the admin member on me, about that. And so I was called in the office, and this was like the first time that I've ever gotten in trouble of something, like in trouble with quotation air quotes.
Your fault. It was
No, I did not.
accident.
Yeah, I did not do anything wrong. And then so I went there, and then immediately I said, "Am I in trouble?" Well, before that, the admin member said, "Sit down," and then I said, "Am I in trouble?" And then after I said that, she raised her voice and said, "Sit down again." So I immediately sat down. And then she was telling me, somebody told me that you pushed someone and they fell down. And yeah, so it was a whole entire mess. I had to like a person B, and I had to also come in another day and explain the story. I already explained the story to the admin member on the first day when she called me in the office, but on the second day, we both had to sit there and talk about what happened. And I was trying to tell her, but I was like super nervous. And then she also told me, the admin member, like, why is your story changing? But I was like so nervous. I could not even like.
What is this?
And-
You think, these sixth graders were motivated to do violence or whatever. What?
Yeah.
Can I
Like,
say
Yes.
something?
Yeah.
Okay, so couldn't person B like said that they asked me to trip? Like you didn't push them, right?
Like, wouldn't they
Like,
know if
I have
someone
a
pushed
feeling
them
they
too?
had. I don't know what they could have against me. I don't know what their ulterior motive was to
But they
to
went
say
all
that.
the way, to
Yeah.
the
That's
admin to.
Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong to them. And yeah, so while I was there, the admin member was kind of talking to person B in a more sympathetic way. Like more like, what victim blaming is?
Ooh.
Yeah, so like she was kind of like siding with the victim, but in reality I was the victim, and then she was talking to me, and like her eyebrows were together, like she had a frown on her face. And yeah,
Do you think it's kind of like
Racially,
no, I don't
No?
know, because person A was South Asian like me. Person B was, I think, like Persian,
Okay.
Persian and South Asian, or South Asian.
People
Like a
just
mix.
were they like popular kids? Because usually like
Kind
teachers,
of, yeah.
teachers and staff always are biased towards them.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shreya's like popular kids point, there was one math teacher I had in middle school.
Continue.
She would always favor the popular kids in middle school. Like whenever they would ask a question, she would be like, "All right, fine, whatever." But then when people outside of that circle, she took it way too personally that they were asking questions. I remember one time in 8th grade, we had a project for like an ABC book or whatever. So I was like asking questions, and she talked to me in like an extremely condescending tone. So I was with my friend group at the time, and I was like, what was her problem? And half of them didn't know.
See, I think that's the worst part. It's okay, you're students. You ask questions because you don't know something, right?
Isn't it like the teacher's job to actually help the students out? Like
You would think that would
like
Another example of a person in the service industry not liking their job at all and hating.
we don't know the context of this
we don't
one,
know,
right?
but
Because
still,
okay,
though.
sometimes I feel like people think that asking them stuff is like you're slighting their expertise. Like, oh, you're doubting what I'm telling you. Like, no,
it's
I
for
just
clarification.
I just want clarification. I just want to know stuff. I want to know what you know.
And like in like, oh my god, this is giving me like PTSD, like flashbacks of everything that has happened. And like your guys' stories are just horrible. Like why do people have to be like, oh my
boy,
god?
I have tales.
Like I remember, the days where I would just cry myself to sleep. And there were days where like the funniest thing was that when I told my parents, right? when I told my parents were like, "Oh, go tell the counselor," and stuff like that.
That's the suckiest advice I'd ever heard. They just
Yeah.
come back worse.
No. My parents. I'm glad that my parents did that because it taught me how to be independent more. And I feel like all parents should just give advice and like let the kid like not like interfere in their lives, right? When it's like needed, when it's not needed, and I feel like kids can solve it on their own, right? And when I was like one of the first students that ever like talked about my bullying to an actual counselor, because nobody else would and nobody else ever did, and I was that first person to do it, right? And these counselors did nothing, absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Because what the counselor did was that they called me into the office, right? They called the kids that were bullying me, and they all got into a circle and be like, "Oh, what you guys are doing to me is wrong." And then my parents, like, now when I tell my parents, like, the counselors did nothing, absolutely nothing. My parents are like, "Oh no, the counselors were like giving like daily reports," and I'm like, "Well, you don't know the fact that I've been bullied the whole time I was in middle school, not just 6th grade. I was bullied in 7th and 8th. I kept quiet about it because I didn't care anymore." And it's almost annoying to me how like counselors just let it go, and it's just like they need to do better because they're a counselor, right? And like middle school counselors need to improve. I'm telling you, like, middle school is like the time where kids are like going through stuff and like they're going through stages, not like in high school, right? High school's it's stressful, yes, but like bullying is not as proficient as like in middle school.
He means to say like as rampant.
Yeah, rampant. Sorry, my English is not that great.
It's okay.
So like high school is not as bad as middle school, and middle school is like way worse.
Middle school kids are like way crueler than high school students, and that is a
Yeah.
confirmed fact. I'm gonna tell you my synopsis of bullying. So my bullying started from 5th grade all the way to 9th grade. So it's like most of my middle school years were centered around bullying, some of my elementary school years as well. Because I was placed in this program which was kind of like special education here. I think they put me in there because I didn't really talk to people.
I don't see why that's an issue.
They took your introversion as a sign of.
They probably took it as some sort of like disorder or something.
Oh,
Because
man.
I didn't even really know why I was in that class. I made a couple friends on the way there. Don't get me wrong, they're cool people. I just lost touch with them after I moved here.
And it kind of feels like you're isolated from the others, right? Like the rest of your class.
So when I first moved here, I was like culture shocked by everything because the population here was majority brown, so I thought they would be like a little bit nicer. I was like that, and then I came to
Cupertino
realize,
kids should know the reality of that statement.
Population here as a mountain house?
yeah, Mountain House.
Oh.
It has a more denser brown population than where I used to live, which was mainly Hispanic. And so when I moved here, it was like really cruel. Like I remember when I was like younger, I don't know if this could get flagged or whatever. I didn't know it at the time, but now like thinking back on it, I could be like some sort of like harassment, or dare I say sexual harassment. So when I was in 6th grade, I was in the lunch line or whatever, and these two boys came up to me. And I think I was wearing like a dress at the time as well. And then they were like, "Why don't you try touching your elbows together?" I did not know what that meant. I was 11.
Man, I'll be honest here. Like, it's stuff that we go through is like, it's horrible. At the same time, it teaches us something, right? Every single time we go through an event, it teaches us a lot of stuff that we didn't know. And I'm sure that experience was just horrible for you, and I understand that, and I feel actually very sorry for you that you had to suffer through that. But I'm sure that you learned something.
Yeah, I
from
learned
it, right?
something. It's just to be careful of what people
Yeah.
say.
I wish we wouldn't have to learn through these kinds of ways, though.
And yeah, go ahead.
And so when the only way I ever found out about this is when I told one of my other friends when I was 15.
So like
Huh.
4 years passed or something.
Yeah, 4 years passed. And then she was like, dude, that's sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I feel like, okay, so in middle school and like in every stage of life when you go through like schooling and stuff, what's important is the friends that you make.
Mm,
Because the more people are closer to you, the more they can hurt you.
mm,
And it's painfully obvious, like when you make a friend, right? And years go by, they go more distant, right? And then they do something and it actually really hurts you. And it happened to me in middle school as well, because most of the time when I got bullied, it was because of my friends.
mm.
And I got rumors spread around about me, and they were always constantly like bullying me about my way, my intelligence, like
Mm,
who I am, right?
mm,
And I think what's so sad is that people don't understand how much it can affect you, because I had a big trauma in ninth grade, and I'm so happy it was like in like online schooling, because like you don't need to make friends or anything, just do the work. And that year was fully just for me to decompress,
mm,
because all through sixth grade to eighth grade I've been constantly bullied about
mm.
anything and everything. Like it
Yeah,
was
you really needed
horrible.
that break.
Yeah. But yeah, the friends that you make and the people that you associate with is the most important thing about like
Mm.
understanding like what's happening. Like it's crazy.
Speaking of like his topic, let's get into the concept of like friend group bullying, because that is
Oh
really
boy, do I have a
notorious.
story for you guys. Freshman year, I got in Mountain House. This was my first time ever coming to a school like this. I knew nothing about Mountain House, so I was fresh off the boat, came from Cupertino, didn't know what to expect. So I was also at the time I started seeking out people to associate with, like friend groups or whatever. And fortunately, or so I thought. Now, unfortunately, I found people who had a lot of similar interests that I did at the time, like K-pop, anime, games, movies, all of that jazz. And then we started talking. We started, eating lunch together, and we started to hang out more often. And then, I thought, we were growing closer and closer. We talked a lot about our feelings, our personal problems, but there was one little thing. I was and continue to be that kind of person that find my home problems as something that needs to be resolved at home. I don't talk about it openly with other people because I just feel like that's not something that other people, especially if you're not like family or close friends or really close friends of mine or someone I consider a close friend, that shouldn't be a problem for you really. It's not your problem to get involved to, it's not your problem to solve. It's a yeah. And then but that was the one thing that I never liked to open up about to who I considered my friends when I was in ninth grade, which apparently bothered them. That I wouldn't open up about my personal problems to others. I told them that continuously, that like, dude, this is my problem and it has nothing to do with you. It's something for me to resolve by myself. Of course, getting external help is always helpful and whatnot, but most of the times I will choose to seek out help from the people that I actually trust.
Like your family
Like family, like cousins, relatives, people who know my family. And I've only known them for like what, months now, so I can't just go around opening up to all of these really personal issues to other people.
Yeah, what did they want you to say? Like, what?
It's like, I don't know. That's
What
the
did
thing.
they
I never
expect you to
understood.
say? I don't understand.
That's the thing. I also never understood why they didn't see, why they couldn't understand the fact that sometimes the problems that they consider to be problems, I didn't see them as problems.
Yeah.
Disagreements between families, little arguments, I don't see those as problems. I just see those are minor hiccups in a developing relationship, really. You just work those out by yourselves. You can't just hold on to them for a really long time, like kind of like a grudge.
I'm usually a very nice person, and a lot of people mistake that as a sense of trust. And it's like you can trust me, right? I'm like, I don't trust you. Just because I'm nice to you doesn't mean I trust you.
This was a huge problem with the friend group I made in ninth grade. I think I already mentioned I was really new to the school and whatnot, so I found these people. I thought, I could trust them or whatever. in a sense. So I was like, oh, I trust them enough to be like, I can sit with you, you won't judge me or whatever. I was dead wrong.
Oof.
Really wrong. The thing is, this group apparently they would go around. They had me under a fake name, and they'd spread rumors about me to other people.
That is the most middle school thing ever.
And I'm like, dude, see, at first when I heard the news, I was kind of heartbroken. I was like, I thought of these people as my friends, and I was told this information to people who would then actually become my friends later in my high school years.
Mm.
So when I found out about this, I was like, please say psych. Please tell me you're joking. And they're like, no, we were told some of these rumors. And I was like, wow.
Mm.
At that point, I had kind of broken up with that friend group. I had left these people, but it still kind of hurts to hear at times.
Mm.
But now that I look back at it, I'm like, dude, this is like peak middle school. Like, why?
This is all happening in like 9th or 10th grade, right?
I'm like, come on.
grow
You have
up.
better things to do you have better things to do with life. Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so rumors wise, how far did it spread?
See, that I didn't ask, because at that point, I had already gotten used to all sorts of rumors being spread about me, even in like middle school. People would call me like prude or whatever. They'd call me all some sort like really weird stuff.
It's like your choice.
It's your choice. Why do they care so much about what you do? Like,
Ooh, that's a good point.
guys,
Because they're
worry about
bored.
yourselves. Yeah.
They're bored.
Yeah. Also, I had like I was about to say something, but I just forgot. But I had like a question, I guess. So you guys were all friends like in middle school, right? Or like not?
No,
Or like you
okay.
guys just met?
See,
Okay.
you see, my friend, we have a very interesting origin story for this specific friend group.
Okay, so Shreya and I actually became friends in 5th grade
Through a wallet.
through a wallet company. That's
It was fun, but way too much drama. Way too much drama back then. But it was fun.
yeah. And
Then
Ridge and I became friends in 7th grade from then on. And then
Yeah, I immediately started talking to her as soon as I saw her. I was like, hey, let's be friends. In the first day of 7th grade.
yeah.
it's like accepting the online friend request.
No, that's so
You know what? I was an awkward new kid at that time, so I was like, "Hey, thanks." And plus, I
Hey, we're
recognized
two
her.
awkward new kids together. And I think our Pavaka and our origin story is by far probably the weirdest. Because it goes into all sorts of obscure details, if you will.
Can I tell it from my perspective?
Yeah.
So I was in AP Human Geography. I was still with my old friend group at the time, but we were going through some issues. So I was and I saw her from where I sat. So I sat next to the teacher's desk. She sat in the front, in front of the board.
second table from the teacher's desk.
Yeah, the second table from the teacher's desk, and she was drawing in her notebook, and I was like, "Wow, cool artsy kid."
Cool artsy kid.
Yeah, because I also had a sketchbook at the time.
Ooh.
They also had a sketchbook at the time, and I was like, nice. And so I was like, I didn't know how to approach her at first because I didn't want to seem creepy. And we didn't start talking until I was placed next to her in English.
Oh, dude. I remember, okay. It was also at that time where one of my friends was actually in, my old quote-unquote friends, was in the English class. And they sat like 3 tables behind where we were sitting. And then at one point during the argument over Instagram, I was in some sort of group or whatever, and she brought up my old friend. We'll call her old. Old brought up the fact that, oh, you're so happy when you talk to Bhavika. And I realized oh, I am infinitely happy
Oh
when
my
I
god,
talk to
that's
her.
actually so sweet. I
was like,
thought I was creeping you out.
No, I was infinitely happier talking to someone that I could actually mesh with as opposed to people who just seemed so superficial behind this. I mean, to be honest, the only thing that they actually had going for them, the only thing they would ever actually talk about was just K-pop. Really, just that's the only thing they ever talk about. I try to bring up other topics like, hey, what do you guys think of this recent anime release? What do you guys think of this new episode? What is your opinion on life or deep topics? They just never talk about those.
Yeah. So quick advice for people who are trying to make friends. One thing that my brother told me was that you can make friends with Indians, right? That's like totally amazing, like cool and all. Don't make too many friends with Indians, because what happens is that no. I did not know. I did not mean
Wait,
in a
guys,
bad
I
way.
think he has a point here.
I
Just hear him out for a second. I
one
think I know what he's
second, one
talking. I
second.
think
All
I know
right,
what he's
one
talking about.
second. All right. So my brother, right? When he was in high school, he also had to deal with problems like these, and he said that most of these problems came from his Indian friends, and his Indian friends was constantly on him about his grades and his all about his studies.
More than his parents?
Yeah, our parents is very chillaxed. They're not your normal Indian parents, because Saudi Arabia, England, all of that, they've been
My
through all of
dad's
that.
like, I'm just glad that your brother passes
Yeah,
high
yeah.
school. And I'm like, you're putting that all on
yeah,
me.
yeah. My parents are not like on us, but my brother had to face it through his friends, and his friends were like on him constantly, and who was like, "Oh, AP exams. Oh, what APs are you taking?" At one point, my brother took more than 4 APs, which was like crazy.
That's dumb.
And like my brother was like, "That's such a dumb move to do," and he was like, "If you dare do that, I'll kill you myself." And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. Kill me now, or I don't know, but
Kill me now before the stress does.
so my brother was like, make friends with Indians, right? To a certain extent. All right. Do not surpass that extent. And make friends with other people in other races. All right. The more you know about other races and other people, the more you can discover, and the more friendships you can develop, and the more lessons you learn. So that's an advice to all the other people out there. I'm not saying that if you prefer like one race, you know what, I respect it, but I'm just telling you, like, do your boundaries, like set your boundaries.
If you have friends from like different religions, keep water bottles inside your car at all times.
Elaborate. Elaborate.
Why?
What?
Why?
What?
Because my brother was asking what like yesterday, like the day before my birthday party, like what was the point of keeping water bottles in the car? And I just thought of this and it was like so funny.
Bro, what? I'm just so confused.
I mean, okay, so
I'm not gonna.
okay.
I think you and I.
Let us
No,
explain.
so we went to Bhavika's birthday party for like bowling and whatever,
And we're
and-
fasting.
and we're fasting, so we needed to break our fast, and she had
Yeah.
water bottles, and
'Cause-
that was so nice.
'cause of
So
Kim
because
Valley. It was
just in
really
case, because
sweet
we
of
were
guys.
going to like this Mediterranean restaurant, we needed to eat, but the order was taking too long, so we grabbed the water bottles and drank
Yeah, it was
those to
really
break
sweet of
our
guys.
fast.
Hey,
Yeah.
it was really good. Like, that's so nice.
That's. Oh yeah, that's.
I am never doubting my dad again for putting water bottles in the car.
I thought you guys put water bottles in cars for long drives in case.
My
you're
brother
thirsty
thought
for
it was
long drives.
stupid. I thought it was
I
stupid
was-
until
I
I
was
was like
thinking of-
14 and I was like dying of heat stroke from the back. I was going to Yellowstone too.
I was thinking of wudu.
How are you gonna do wudu with water bottles?
No, actually, we do that when we're going to the beach. We just get the water.
Bro, I think I can safely say I have the most experience. I think I have a decent amount of experience with the road trips to know that you just keep bottles in your car at all times, regardless. Like, are you not putting it regularly?
We do put it regularly, but it's in the big car.
We just put them in all cars that we have.
That's smart.
Back to bullying.
Back to bullying.
All right, yeah, pretty
I have a
wholesome
story. I think I told
we have
you
like
all
3
this in the
minutes?
beginning. I didn't tell him. Yeah, he would probably go crazy. So here's
Buckle up your seatbelts, because this is about to get wild.
okay. So this is called the school account book scandal, which consists of me, person A, person B, person C, and a teacher.
Put in the whole alphabet.
Put in the whole alphabet. I would. X, Y, Z, and the teacher. Okay. So it was just person X and person Y were like goofing off in my history class. This was in middle school, by the way. And they had a crush on like 2 guys at the time. They were twins, which is the funniest part to me. And they just started writing fan fiction. And so I was just like, you know what? I think I have a little bit more common sense because I was dubbed the mom friend. I was dubbed the mom friend in middle school, and I was like, please don't do that. And so I was like, I will just throw the document away, throw it for a rainy day. And then person Z got into it. And now person Z notoriously hated me. Like, she would call me names, put slights on me, but then she tried to put slights on my family.
What? What is she like a hit? Was she hired by a hitman or something? What is going on?
She tried to say something about my dad. I don't think she even got the word out of her throat.
Oh, you're definitely like.
Continue.
I was
okay,
like walking
let's
in
not-
the room, and half of them were just like, don't.
One more minute.
One more minute. And so there was like the scandal, they were like writing stuff. And then without my knowledge, some kid told me, hey, you're in the book. I don't know if this goes under sexual harassment yet again. It probably does, but it was like very, very graphically detailed.
Hey, yo.
And then after that, I saw this whole, it was like very graphically detailed. I was like, how did it get this far? And so I was like venting my problem to like another girl I knew at the time. She was like, that's weird. And like they spread like wildfire.
Oh my god, please let this girl have a good ending. Oh my god.
I did
please.
get a good ending. Like,
Oh, okay. Okay.
but X and Y got suspended. I
Yes,
don't know.
of course they should. Not even a
and Z
question.
got. I don't know what happened to Z. She got like in school suspension. And then I was like scot free. I just didn't want to remember it at the time. I was just like, if it makes you feel any better, it's only with the only other Indian kid who was.
Hey yo, what is with the kids that come here who are Indians acting weird? Like why?
Tune in next time to find out the answer to that.
Let's find the answer to that question.
Answer in the Dropbox if you know why Indian kids act like this when they come to Mountain House.
Yeah, overall, I'm glad.
The weirdest stories I've ever heard. Like,
I'm glad we ended off on a
I
good
am
note.
speed running this. If you want a Q&A, let me know.
all of them are horrible.
Enjoy it. All right, see you guys. Actually,
Bruh.
all right, guys. Well, we're back from our the elevator music that you just heard. The quick intermission. We're gonna continue off on what was Nahum talking about? He asked a question about why all Indian kids at this school are super weird. It's kind of rude.
I mean, that could be like a generalization, I guess. But
Yeah, true.
does anyone add to that?
But okay, there is some degree of truth to it, though. In a sense.
Yeah, that's
In a sense,
not
I can't
wrong.
speak for most Indian kids, but obviously, there's like weird social expectations in the school.
Yeah.
People try to like do their best to fit in a way, which then leads to a bunch of other problems.
That's true. Like, there's nothing wrong, but there's also can be like things that could occur that could be wrong. I don't know how I'm trying to say, bro.
People say it's okay being weird. Like, what do you think about that, though?
Okay, define. There's like different
Types of weird.
the different
Yeah.
types of weird. It's like, oh, I'm super quirky kind of weird, or just like
You're straight up a creep weird.
Yeah. I feel like
It's
when,
like straight up a creep type of weird, you know?
again, it's like the whole weirdness is like, oh, I'm not like the other girls type of weird kind of weird that we talk about. It's like, oh, I'm super quirky. I do X thing in this different way than other people. Like, dude, you're not weird. You're just
you like
you're not quirky, bro. You are just weird. You know?
I mean, okay, wait.
I think people see weird as another word for unique.
It could be.
Yeah, but again, there's different types of weird. It's like, oh, it's a cute, quirky kind of weird, or it's like, oh, I don't know why you would do that kind of weird. You know?
I feel like okay. I think like with. I mean, I guess. Okay, wait. Try. Say what you said.
isn't like the dictionary definition of like weird gonna have like negative connotation
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I guess like weird is like deviating from the norm or whatever, which is fine. But if you keep saying you're weird and advertising it, that kind of makes you look weird
Yeah, that does make
But in a
sense.
bad way.
in a bad way, obviously. Not like
It's
really
like people
it's
calling themselves alphas. You don't call yourself an alpha if you are
Dude,
truly an alpha.
if a person unironically calls themselves an alpha, I will laugh. But also, like, a lot of people have very different definitions of what is weird to them.
That's
True.
Yeah.
but if you yourself think it's normal to yourself, then why are you calling yourself weird? If you
Because they
think it's
want to be
normal.
unique. They want to stand out.
We want to be extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Everybody wants to feel special.
The next YMC. YN or
Bro, every
like,
YN
young
and every
adult main
fanfic is
character.
just like, oh, I'm super, like, I'm not like the other girls. I'm like, dude, no,
Mine is-
you.
And it's always like, oh, I watch horror movies, listen to rock music, and I'm like, excuse me, normal people do that. Like,
And they're also like, oh, I have an unhealthy attachment to serial killers. That's a red flag.
that is a red flag.
Oh my god. Okay, we deviate.
Yeah, let's go back to the original.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry, y'all.
It's fine. It's fine.
I kind of wanted to add on to my story about like the person A, person B admin member story, where I was accused of something that I didn't do. That one. So like I told my mom about it, and like that was like very therapeutic for me telling my mom about it, because she actually had a similar occurrence happen to her when she was in second grade. Somebody accused somebody's like this person was called to the office or something and was questioned, and then that person said, no, I didn't do it, she did it. Who? And that person was referring to my mom. So it was a whole chaos thing, and like we were also getting emotional about it too, because you know it's
hurts.
terrible. Yeah, it's terrible that being accused of something that you didn't do is very frustrating as well. And like the ending of that story was that, so when I was like with, I don't know, person A and I were like with the admin member, I kind of like given up and said, okay, yeah, I did it, because she did not really believe me at all. I tried to tell her that it wasn't me many times, but like she kept on saying that I was changing the story and whatnot. So I said, yeah, I did it, because like I was so exhausted of like telling the truth. I was telling the truth, and I had to get in trouble for telling the truth, but they didn't know that. So what I had to do was like I had to help out for my punishment, in quotation air quotes. I had to like help out some people who like I see that fall down or something, and help them up, and then write a letter to the admin member about that and my experience about that. So I did that, and then I gave that letter to her, and then I was off the hook. But to this day,
that's-
I still feel like it's super traumatic for me. To this day, I feel like crying whenever I think about it, because I absolutely hated being in that situation. I wanted to like pull my hair out or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of want to. Okay, but like your punishment, that's just so weird.
It's like you have to like look and wait for someone to
Like,
fall.
like it's like being reminded of something you didn't even do in the first place. Like that's
Yeah.
just not. It sucks that you have to actually like.
More unusual than cruel.
It's not cruel.
It's just yeah, it's weird. It's just like odd.
Since when is helping people considered a punishment?
I
Is
know.
my question. Why is it just generally being a decent person to others considered a punishment?
weird, yeah.
You know, schools have run out of ideas, and this is their way of punishing kids for doing something.
So like, it sucks that the admin did not believe you. Like,
I thought they're supposed to be unbiased.
I feel like
Yeah, she
they-
was pretty biased.
I feel like they should have like talked to like teachers or something to like get your character.
Yeah,
sense
there
of
were
humor.
there were witnesses of what actually happened.
And they were against you?
No, but the witnesses that came that like talked to the admin member that the admin member called were the people that were like, you know how I was like pushing the door to like not let the guys come in. It was like those guys, like the people that didn't see what was going on. And you know, like I really wish my homeroom teacher was in the classroom, but he wasn't in the classroom when all that happened, so that was a big disadvantage. But yeah, but the relieving part of and the best part about the situation was that I got to talk to my mom, and I felt better after talking to my mom because she had a similar experience and we related to each other. So yeah, and my mom was also trying to tell the admin member that my daughter would never do something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to get like. Oh, sorry.
That's where you sue them.
Yeah.
I know it's such a Karen thing to do, but like, I don't know.
Like-
Sue them.
Get your money and go.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, but like, yeah, it's good that your mom was like supportive of you, like trying to
Yeah.
because it's really yeah, it sucks.
No.
Okay.
We'll take a quick detour into Beer Town here. This one experience I had with a teacher as opposed to another student.
What's this one?
I don't know how you guys will perceive this, but a fair warning.
I think is it
Fair warning to listeners. This could get kind of disturbing at points, so
Graphic content ahead. Please.
it's
viewer
not even
discretion.
graphic, bro. They can't see
It's
it.
just uncomfy.
Uncomfortable.
Very
Viewer
uncomfy indeed.
discretion is advised.
So I will get one thing out of the way from the jump. To anyone who cannot see, to the people who cannot see my face or have never seen my face, I sometimes suffer from the case of RBF, where I come off as mean even though I am in a perfectly neutral position, facial muscle wise, whatever you want to call it. But this exact thing has come to save me. My, mean face has saved me in this one circumstance. So we're gonna call this the protagonist, the deuteragonist, and the antagonist. We'll call the protagonist me. Okay, in this scenario, the deuteragonist is my good friend A, and the antagonist is dude C. We're just gonna call it that.
Oh.
So, Teacher C was known to be a creep, an absolute creep towards the girls in his PE class. Some of the things that he do is like he try to talk them up real nice.
How did these people get
So
hired?
sleazy.
I know.
Yeah, you think, right? But I will also mention that C was pretty old.
How old are we talking?
He looked like he was in his 50s to 60s, bro.
Ooh.
Yeah. And yeah, he would like talk them up and stuff, not smile in like the friendly kind of ways, like you know the way that I'm talking. Yeah. But then I'd also notice the girls, they would just smile back because they were very uncomfortable. I could tell that,
It's like that smile where you're just like,
please leave me alone, please leave me alone,
Yeah.
get away from me kind of smile. Unfortunately, they didn't really get the chance to do much or kind of in a way stand up for themselves. It was just me and my good friend A that kind of stayed away from him as much as possible.
mm.
I also kind of didn't get a good vibe from him when I first when we first like met in freshman year. So I was like, okay, the best thing to do is stay away from this guy, which I did for the most part, but it didn't work for too long. Yeah. So I think the cherry on top of it all is to the guys. He would berate them,
Oh,
belittle.
so he's one of those.
Yeah.
That's a huge red flag.
The package deal, if you will. He would absolutely take any chance to berate them, belittle them, insult them, make them do extra like laps or put in physical activity that he would completely exempt the girls from.
To like get on the good side of the girls or something?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Okay, that's just really weird. And again, red flag alert, like 1,000 times over.
Not 1,000,
Or
but like,
million,
dude,
or infinite.
Infinity, billion,
if you
trillion.
set aside just the PE aspect of it, it's pretty terrible. Even all the boys in my class got really frustrated with the fact that why are we being treated like dirt when the girls are, they get to kind of mosey around. But the reality is both were getting probably the worst of it.
Like,
Un- the guys are getting unnecessary punishment while the girls are getting unwanted attention. So apparently it was also a math teacher, which didn't.
I've heard the stories of when he was a math teacher, and he was pretty bad.
Oh, dude, he was apparently really, really bad as a math teacher. He would never teach the class. Again, he would just yell at the kids if they didn't understand a formula. Like, they could be going over something as relatively simple as the slope formula, and if a kid didn't get it, I pity this kid. He would just get yelled at. Like, oh, you absolute idiot. Did you not get what I was saying this entire time? And he was like writing random stuff on the board, like thinking
Even
he
his
was.
final wasn't even a final.
Apparently, I don't know. I wasn't in the math class. Thank God. I wasn't in the math class, or I think I don't know how I would have done it. PE was bad enough, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It was also at this time where I got back into good physical training.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing strength and flexibility conditioning. So I would say I was pretty fit for, I was a pretty fit kid in my class, which also kind of helped me because it was also at the time, apparently, I was very intimidating to this teacher.
Yeah.
When I learned this information, I was actually quite happy, knowing that the teacher that others were insanely uncomfortable around was uncomfortable around me.
That's a good point.
So
But
this, I
How
think,
did you find out though?
one of my friends who was one of the girls that kind of got talked up to the teacher told me, he's like, hey, you kind of scared the teacher. And internally I was like,
Yes.
silent fist pump. Again, the only reason why I would ever think this way is if a teacher genuinely made me feel uncomfortable. It's good to know that they feel somewhat alerted or threatened by my presence. It's a really weird way of thinking
Well,
about
did
it.
he ever
but
have like a close interaction with you, or was it from a distance?
my friend or the teacher?
The teacher.
Oh, it's about to get close and personal, bro.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember you telling this story once, and it was like so. I think I know where this is going, sadly, and it's really bad, y'all. It's really
All right, you
bad.
just
So-
gotta hear this for yourself.
To take a football quiz.
Oh, I remember. It
It's
was
the
like that
football
was
quiz.
so pointless.
Football quizzes, sports quizzes on paper are kind of pointless. Sport is better being done instead of studied.
Yeah, that's true,
Mhm.
that's true.
But that's completely beside the point. We're just gonna call this the football quiz incident. Before this incident occurred, I had kept in close touch with one of the security officers here on campus. I love her, and she was the one who gave me a lot of support and good advice on how to keep my cool and composure around this teacher. My favorite security guard.
Wait, you told her about this teacher?
Yep,
And
and
she didn't report it though?
No. I think she talked to the higher ups. I don't know exactly what happened, but she told me the exact same thing that I felt this entire time. Like, dude, this
Yeah.
teacher also creeps me out a lot.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's
apparently-
concerning how these people are getting hired though. Like, excuse me?
I mean, let's not talk about that teacher you had.
We'll wait until Padma's story is
Okay.
over, and then we both.
We'll hit the climax, if you will. So, a football quiz. We walked into his math class to write the football quiz. And it was me and my buddy A. We were sitting in the same table together, and he was handing out the quizzes. He gave a little wink wonk to the girls, and a death
If you
stare to
cannot
the
see my
guys.
face, I am vomiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all. That's
Can you imagine how I felt in that situation, though?
gross. That's just.
Murder was on my mind, bro.
Honestly,
Okay. So then he comes up to me again, because I am the girl. He tries to like wink wonk his way into this, but I was like, not having it. So he just gives me the paper and just leaves. I'm like, thank God. So I do the football quiz. I don't want to go up and give it to him. So I asked my good friend A, who was also like shuddering at the fact that she had to go up and give it to the teacher. Instead, this one guy, I think he was like, okay, I'll just, bite the bullet. I'll take it for everybody if it makes people feel uncomfortable. So he took all the papers, gave it to the teachers, and as we were sitting around, kind of in the downtime, we're just talking after the quiz. Teacher C, he gets up from his teacher's desk and slowly saunters to my side of the room. And in probably the most creepiest, in all his creepy glory, he kabedons the table. He slams both of his hands down on the table, looks at me straight in the eye, and goes, I don't know if I can say it, bro.
Just say it. We're all
I'm gonna say
die.
verbatim exactly what he said to me.
Okay, verbatim. Let's all mentally prepare ourselves.
Why can't I make you blush?
Ew! Ew!
And mind you, my face, my mind, my entire body was ready to do only one thing.
Punch him.
Murder.
Ah. Dude, who says that to like a 14-year-old?
Look, man. Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. At that moment, a million things were running through my mind.
How do you even respond to that?
I didn't. I simply stared at him. And he just left. He got
Why?
flustered and just left.
Why did he feel the need to tell you that?
Because apparently I was the only girl that he couldn't get up and personal with because I intimidated him.
That is so creepy.
And never have I been more grateful to all the aunties and uncles who have told me I should smile more by me telling them I don't feel the need to smile. Every auntie and uncle's like, dude, your face looks really mean. You should smile more often. I'm like, man, I'll just smile
It's a
when I
good
feel.
thing to be mean, though.
I know.
That's what I told them. I'll just smile when I feel happy, and they're like, oh, okay, fair enough. And this is that exact one time where my resting face has absolutely saved me. Friend A was shell-shocked. She was mortified. She looked at me. She looked back at the teacher and was like, he did not just say that. And I'm like, girl, he just said that.
How come he better have been fired after saying that?
Oh yeah, yeah, he was fired. He was fired, but he had a lovely cover-up story.
Ooh. Wait, did he get caught for something outside of school or?
Nah, man, he got fired on the case of misconduct.
I think I know what he was trying to do in terms of the misconduct.
Look, man, it's a PSA to any young kid, guy, girl, anywhere in between. If you see someone like this creeping you out, you best be on your guard.
I know.
Mhm.
Don't smile at them just to be nice.
Yeah.
Don't.
Get
Don't.
the bad vibes. Just
Stay away from them as much as possible. And if you have an RBF, use it to your full potential.
I know.
Use it to its absolute peak, because it'll save you in a pinch. The one thing, because I was one of the more fit kids in the class, it scared him when I could do Frankenstein's all the way up to past my head. Because then I also realized, dude, I can easily do a front kick to his chin, probably knock him out cold. It's the one thing I realized. I was really flexible at that time. Also, guys, don't be too murderous in your intentions. My mind was in a really weird place when I was in freshman year, so I don't know. This is a cautionary tale to all young Mustangs, kids, whatever. Just if you feel that you're being creeped on, always take a good look at your surroundings and the people that you're with and the person that you feel is creeping you out. Always have,
A plan.
a plan.
Yeah.
Always. I reported it, obviously, and apparently it went through, and that's how it kind of catalyzed the firing of the teacher.
Why did he think he would get away with that?
Yeah.
How did he think he would get away with that?
He's
Apparently,
crazy.
because this teacher, I think, got away with it in a bunch of other schools.
Oh my god.
The amount of people he might have creeped out or affected is crazy to think about.
Yep.
Or worse, hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Thankfully, I managed to get away relatively unscathed. You know, it's an
traumatizing. That's
it's an incident I will forever thank my RBF and weird mentality for, and the good support of the security guard and my friends.
Yeah,
Especially
speaking of that, some people just don't do background checks on certain teachers because I remember in the beginning of this year, one of our longest running teachers was going to get replaced for a while.
Yeah.
Not replaced from the class, he would just teach somewhere else.
Like he went to a different. He was teaching a different class, I think.
He was teaching a different
Like a math class, yeah.
Yeah.
like a math class instead of our department. And so we got this new teacher that was supposed to be ours for the entire year. And so I didn't know if this would count as some sort of weird thing or whatever. So me and Shreya were partnering up for this project or whatever. And then he walks up to us and he's like, "You two are partnering together?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you have to pick a different partner." And I'm like, "How do you know I haven't talked to her before?"
Because he was kind of only partner up with people you don't know. So, but
so
I
that
mean,
you get to know
you
other
get to
people
know-
in the classroom.
But here's the funniest part. We are in our final year. We know everyone by now.
honestly, do we though?
Well,
I do.
know of them.
We know of their existence. I don't know them personally.
That would have been worked if it was an introductory class, but this was a final capstone class.
Oh yeah. He was just kind of strict also.
It was kind of strict, but also really weird.
Yeah.
He would often stand behind us when we were working.
oh boy.
Yeah, that's a very uncomfy.
Yeah.
But then we were he would hover over our stuff too. We didn't know why.
Not in the weird way. I know some teachers they walk around the classroom and look at what you're
But
doing.
the thing is, he
but
was
this one
there
they just-
longer than he was supposed to.
Okay.
No, I get that.
I mean, what teachers do is they just quickly at a glance oh, is the kid on Instagram or they on Edgenuity or just something. They just take a glance and they just walk around. They keep going.
Yeah. But if it's more than a certain amount of time, then it's
Yeah,
just
it was
weird.
more than a certain amount of time. And then he was fired, and I was asking around why, and then I was like, "Oh, it's because he was misconduct.
He was
The outside of
also-
school
he was,
misconduct.
he was a coach for a couple of girl sports too, so that was kind of.
Girls' sports, and there were a lot of stories from there as well.
He was a creep to them, right? That's what I've heard.
No, that's.
Yeah, they,
I'm worried about how
they
this is
should
going to turn out.
strictly background check people
I know.
for sure. Because this is not one but two incidents, and there could be more. You never know. It's just scary.
I mean, people. No.
I don't know, but
I mean, there's a lot of teachers who got fired in their first year, not for misconduct, but for other reasons. So they really do need to I mean, I can't really say it though. I don't know.
No, it's.
I
fine.
don't know the teacher process, whatever. But still,
Okay.
watch out for creeps.
I think now, since we've been talking about teachers, I think we should talk about the students. I've
Being creeps?
no, in general, just for the bullying topic.
Oh yeah.
On the topic of that. So I do I've said this before, but in general, I do feel that Mountain House High School kids are pretty nice. They're mostly nice, friendly people.
They are.
They're chill, yeah. But I don't see face-to-face bullying as much, but there's definitely talking behind their
Oh, yeah.
back.
Most of the bullying
Definitely.
happens on social media.
Yeah,
Behind the
behind the
back.
scenes.
Yeah, cyberbullying. But yeah.
Yeah, I see it and hear it in the classes that I'm in. So
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
what do you think is worse for you guys? People talking about you behind your back or telling you straight to your face?
I think it's behind your back.
I mean that. I don't know, but if you don't know what's happening, it can't really hurt you. But like, I mean, when everything comes out, it will hurt you. But
I think it sucks to do it more behind someone's back because
Yeah.
the thing is, even if you okay, suppose like you bully someone straight to their face, they'll cry, or respond however, right? But then you are aware of the fact that this person does not like you. You're completely aware of the fact that this person has maybe something against
like,
you. Is they don't like your guts or whatever.
you can at least avoid them in some kind
Yeah,
of way.
you know the
Yeah.
face. The feeling has a face to it, right? But if it's like behind your back or something, you don't know who this person is. You don't know who's spreading these rumors. It could be anybody. It could make you more paranoid. It could also make you more emotionally volatile
Or
Or-
vulnerable.
and vulnerable.
Makes it feel like everyone's against you or something.
Yeah.
It feels like I feel like people talking behind your back is definitely worse because I had this weird thing in like 5th grade. Shreya probably knows what I'm talking about. Where like no, it's not your fault. So like in 5th grade, in our friend group, there was this girl. We're gonna call it Person A. Person A was like she used to like tease me a lot, but like it was the type of teasing that I wasn't a huge fan of, and I felt like it was targeting me. I
It's
don't
not
know.
like teasing between friends, right? Making fun of.
Yeah, like I mean, then again,
more intense than that. Like, I know some friends they do tease each other, but this was kind of like a different type, right?
I-
It was
I-
kind of more serious, kind of.
I guess like I feel like if it like that kind of thing happened now, I would be like more like mature about it and chill with it, but because like I was like more sensitive then. But like yeah, it made me like really feel really bad, but at least it was in front of me and at least I knew because if it was behind my back, it would have it would have hurt more. It would have been like a stab to my back, yeah.
It's even worse when they try to talk back to your own friend group, like talk behind your back to your own friend group. Because this happened to me in 8th grade. I kid you not. I was in a different class, and me and and then her and that other girl are also in a different class. And then, so when me and her had the same class, the girl that was nice to me, alliterate that in mind, we were sitting together doing English work, and she's like, she's like talking behind your back and stuff. And I'm like, really? I was like hurt by this.
Definitely, yeah.
And so I asked her, what is the stuff she's saying about me? Big mistake.
Mm.
Do you think it would have been better if you just didn't have known?
I would like to know what she says because thinking about them now are so stupid.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I think you told us some of like the dumb stuff that she said. Like the things don't even make sense, right?
Like the one of them was that I lived in a dumpster.
Excuse me?
That's just weird.
That's just dumb.
That's just dumb that I lived in a dumpster.
Like,
No, what?
Mind you, I was living in Altamont Village. People can clearly see where I live.
Yeah,
I
your
live, like,
house is
spot-
not a dumpster. I've seen it. Your house is super pretty.
You literally got like
Your house is
Everything.
nice, inside and out.
inside and out.
Yeah.
I was like, this girl was like really weird.
Like,
Yeah.
Was she insecure? I don't know.
I think she was insecure.
That's the first thing that came up. 'Cause, like,
The
why would you
first
say
of
that?
all was that I am.
maybe she was jealous of you or something.
I mean, she was most likely jealous because I was getting along much
With
better
your
with the
friends?
other two girls than she was.
Oh.
Keep in mind, she was clearly a jerk. And we couldn't find a safe means to like drop her out of the friend group. So we kind of had to keep her around because we were scared. Like she would threaten physical violence.
Wait, like to you guys?
Yes.
What?
That's oh my god. Do you not?
Yes, physical violence.
Do you tell anyone about it, like any adults or?
I just
Nothing
didn't think it would
like
be
that.
like necessary.
That's still
That's concerning.
like. Okay, I'm not listening because that's upset.
Yeah.
This also brings like to a very nice illuminating incident in 8th grade. When as like female friend groups, we sometimes go to the bathroom together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like waiting for my friends in the bathroom. And we were like talking, and I was like fixing my hair and stuff. And she's like, "Why are you fixing your hair so much?" And I'm like, "Cause at the time I had like long hair that would get like tangled really easily." So I was like brushing my like hair and stuff out. And when I was done with that, she was like, we were like talking and stuff. I don't know exactly what led up to an argument like that, but she ended up like, the wrist part. She ended up like grabbing my wrists. And she had like fingernails at the time, so she was like digging into them.
Oh, no.
Wait, what grade is this?
8th grade.
8th grade? Excuse me?
Sounds like something
Like a
little.
second grade or
Yeah,
first grade or
exactly.
kindergarten?
This is what world is this person living in?
I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely centered around.
Please don't tell me she did other crazy stuff.
She did other crazy stuff.
What else
Like,
you guys-
she's the type of person that would like do anything for attention, especially male attention.
define anything
Yeah.
if you want to, of course.
She
If you want to,
belittles
yeah, if you
her
want to.
friends around
She
males,
she does belittle us around
guys.
guys, especially me.
Yeah, I
Good
don't.
Considering
I'm
I was-
guaranteeing you, if I was a dude, I wouldn't be having any of that. I would avoid this girl like the plague.
Like, excuse me.
It was like because I was like not as like conventionally attractive as one might say. And so she would like find a way to belittle me. It was usually me. The other girls didn't get it that much.
So messed up.
The only one that was like this girl who I was friends with, and she was mute, and the other one was just me, a chubby brown kid. I have to emphasize this because they're just like
Chubby
why?
brown kids are attractive.
Aw.
That's
Aw.
Yes.
No, they're adorable. I'm telling you.
What is that, Orlo?
Like I'm just thinking of like babies,
Babies.
the super chubby babies.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I actually have an example of like there were these people that were talking about my friend behind her back, and I overheard. I overheard what they were talking about. So this was like in 6th grade PE. My friend wasn't around, but I'll just call them person K, person S, and person V. Person S, I'm also friends with, but person K and person V were like kind of like the ones that were starting the conversation, and they were like talking about her figure, my friend's figure,
Oh,
and like
that's
making fun of her, the way that she runs, and
Why
I
does
hate
it
that kind of
matter to
bullying.
And-
people?
and
I don't
her-
know.
and her chest size as
Ooh.
well.
Do I know who these people are? 'Cause I
Maybe,
probably
but don't
know.
say anything.
I'm not gonna say anything. No.
Okay. Yeah, and then I overheard. I did not tell them like don't talk to my friend like that, but I told person S,
Yeah.
who I'm friends with, and said like she wasn't really adding on to the conversation. She was kind of like laughing. She was kind of,
it happen.
yeah,
Still letting
yeah,
it happen.
and then I was all like, oh, why were you guys talking about my friend like that? I told her, and and she said we were just laughing or something. I don't really remember what she said, but I did not tell my friend about this because I didn't want her to feel bad because
Yeah. Honestly, you did the
she does
right
get
thing.
sensitive about
Yeah.
these types of things.
Yeah.
I
too.
think you did good to spare her peace.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's also the case of would you want to know, like,
Yeah,
I guess it
Whether-
depends on
I
the
just
person.
kept quiet and did not tell her about
But
that.
then, how long can you really tell them, like, ignorance is bliss? How long can you keep
know.
them in the dark?
I feel like they should know, right? If someone's talking about them behind their back.
I guess it just depends. Like, but yeah, like eventually, no.
But honestly, it's still so sweet that you like confronted them about it, though.
Yeah, like
Like honestly, that takes like bravery and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And that is what a true friend does.
Of course. So, I don't know. I'm with the mindset of like, yes, I will obviously like tell off the people who are saying these things about my friend, but at the same time, I'm gonna tell my friend like, hey, these people are talking about you like this, you should avoid them,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
should like confront them
Or just
directly.
yeah.
I know if your friend is really emotional and stuff, but still at the same time, it's not. In a way, that's the dilemma, really. Do you want to spare their feelings, or do you just want to like let them know?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the possible outcome of either? And
Like,
is it
yeah.
truly beneficial to do either one of those things?
Honestly,
It's like just like balancing the odds and trying to find like the right balance.
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Like, would I potentially emotionally damage my friend by saying this kind of stuff based
But
on
you're
what-
not the person saying the hurtful stuff. Though.
yeah, or would I rather have them just kind of live, I guess, blissfully ignorant of what others think about them, so they don't have to worry about maybe their image, or they don't have to worry about the things that people, tease them about,
That's
so that they don't grow self-conscious about it later and begin to hate themselves for it.
that's true.
Mm.
But I have like thought-provoking question though. If like your friend kept this from you, that she overheard someone making fun of you, would you like be more hurt later when you find everything out because she didn't tell you?
I definitely would.
I would.
I would want to know her reason though.
Yeah, same.
Her
Reasoning.
Her reason would probably be like not to hurt you and stuff. So
Yeah, because it can be emotionally damaging, but at the same time, like you're the type of friend that will want to keep things positive, you know?
yeah.
You don't want to like hurt her feelings. Instead, you should like it's better to confront the people that are hurting her feelings so that they can stop and
That's
that
true,
friend won't get hurt anymore and like people would stop talking to her like that.
That's true.
But I guess the question also begs, the reality is, would it really, change the way people think about someone? Probably not.
Probably not. But at least on the bright side, we can avoid people who think badly of us.
That is true.
That's the thing. Yeah, at least we can do that.
Oh yeah, so one thing this has taught me all is that there is a clear distinction between criticism of behavior and just general actual negativity towards somebody. I mean, I want to set foot into an industry where criticism is such an integral part of development. Someone is going to critique you on your artwork. Someone's going to tell you like, "Hey, your perspective looks really wonky," or maybe your proportions are off, or maybe this color scheme is not suited for this kind of a concept. That's called criticism.
Yeah, it's trying to help you like improve
Yeah.
actually and grow.
Criticism is positive. It's positive, like,
It leads to positive outcomes.
yeah, it's a positive outcome. But bullying, on the other hand, it's
Fully negative.
But then also, it's to me, I find it insanely fascinating and so strange that these are the kinds of incidents that actually help us grow as people. Like, the lowest lows is where people's true nature comes out. Like, if you were the one bullying, you get to either be the one to come out on top, or you just sink to the bottom. Which is your path? Do you want to, it's uncomfortable to kind of confront people about this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, you may emerge victorious and kind of tell people a cautionary tale at the end, kind of like what happened to me.
Have you guys ever regretted saying something to someone ever? Like you're like,
the
oh, that was
All the
rude or
time.
something?
All the time. There,
Especially, I have a story about this. A lot of people can, especially my parents, kind of perceive like my talking and tone as pretty rude or very vague. And now, like looking back at the way I used to talk, I can kind of see that. Considering as like a former bullied kid myself for like most of my developing years, I never really knew how to keep a friendship. But I did keep one. It was like long and consistent, but it was rough at the beginning. But we sort of grew, and now I have this group. I kind of regret like the things I did to them like earlier. It was not because I hate them, it's because I had internal issues and problems in my personal life that I didn't know how to fix.
I got that.
I mean, there's a lot of things I wish I hadn't said or things I wish I hadn't done in life, but now that I reflect on it, at least I have a tool for reference to learn
Yeah,
what
true.
to do and what not to do.
Yeah. Especially like as a friend, because there's like a lot of things where like I'm more of a follower myself, so I would follow other people, and I feel like unfortunately that's hurt other people. But like, just really just terrible. But like, but now I know like what not to do and to like be my own person in order to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, summary of this episode, because we have like 3 minutes left. There's never gonna be a time where everybody is gonna like you. There's always gonna be people that are gonna dislike you. Like, even if you try your best to be as likable as you can, like, there's always gonna be people that will just not like you, and you might not know the reason why, but it just happens. Yeah.
Your goal shouldn't be to appease everybody. In fact, that's the one thing that causes all of this nonsense and drama. You need to find people that you can actually mesh with, people that you know you can get along with, people that I learned to appreciate you for the highs and the lows, because those are the kinds of people that you would want to call as friends. Someone who can help you in your darkest times, and people who laugh with you at your best. Those are the kinds of people you need to surround yourself with. And it could be hard to distinguish, but the more and more you get to know somebody, then you can kind of get to see their true colors shine a bit more and more. So yeah, this was I think a deep,
This was very serious.
a very like I think also kind of a personal episode, because we all shared a lot of our own personal experiences. If anyone had any experiences like these, you should definitely maybe should, if you want to, let us know in the Dropbox comments or whatever. But if you ever go through situations like these, please do not hesitate to speak up to someone you trust. Especially if you don't trust school counselors, or if you don't trust the administration, be sure to tell your parents or somebody. Even if they don't believe you, talk to like your own friends, talk to people you can like trust with your whole heart. Don't let this go unnoticed by anybody, because chances are they could also have the solution to the problem.
Oh, yeah. Or they could understand it because they went through it.
Someone who can help you, and someone who also can understand the situation that you're going through and provide you with the necessary support. All right, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, that's all. Do we quickly want to read the Dropbox messages?
Wait, should we do that next time so we can get in depth?
Oh,
No, we can just
lunch food.
wait. You want to do this in the beginning of the next episode?
honestly,
We'll do the next episode.
Rating lunch food.
I like these.
rate lunch food?
Yeah.
No, next episode is all about school, guys. But we can talk
No,
about.
wait, I
Well,
can talk
actually, we
about lunch
can.
food.
Never mind.
Lunch.
Yes, we can. We'll definitely rate. Okay, yeah, that was the first Dropbox message, by the way. Rate lunch food.
Can we get a mukbang food club? We don't have plans for that as of yet.
I mean, we can't establish it because we're not going to be here next year to create the club.
We're seniors, guys.
But I mean, we're the messengers, I guess, to tell others.
Tell others, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, there's this one. Off the fair.
Oh, for real, for real.
Oh, for real, for real. For what?
For real. Yeah, this one says cash check. Like, gotta check out like how much money I have, how many bills I got.
Nah, it's probably for us. Cash, bro, we're broke.
We're broke.
Yeah, we already established.
I still need permission to to use my own debit card.
Oh yeah, the Mentos
Fundraiser that we had, it's never gonna happen.
Sorry, guys.
Off the video production.
the very last one.
Valorant. We're not gamers. Our gamer didn't come today.
Oh yeah.
Nahum isn't here for this part of the episode. But yeah. Oh, all right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Be sure to tune in next time and follow us, add our podcast to your Spotify playlist, Send us more Dropbox messages, all that. All right, bye.